Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
So in completely unrelated news, I just recently saw a video of Halo 4 where Master Chief was using a QuickTime event where he had to mash the X button to open a door, and it made me angry.
Yeah, did you see that? I
oh,
watched I watched that video.
Uh,
They were talking about
343
like
at it again.
we want to
I don't
bring
want
you we want to
QuickTime events don't go in Halo.
no. Did you
They're like that's what I've always loved is that they're one of the only fucking first-person shooters that haven't like fallen to that annoying
well wait.
trope.
Now wait a second. Technically they haven't because Bungie isn't working on this game anymore. Now it's
Yeah, it's
343.
343.
I didn't say anything about. I just said Halo.
No, I know, but I'm
The
just
fact that
saying like
the fact
if
that
you
the Halo now has QuickTime events,
if you
you're like no.
but if you want to be technical, the series as a whole worked with Bungie. That was Bungie's thing. Bungie did Halo. And now that 343 is they're doing their own thing called that happens to be called Halo, but it's actually not Halo. That's the way I look at it. It's like yes, your game is called Halo and it does have Master Chief and shit, but it's not Halo in the sense of like this isn't made by Bungie. This doesn't have the genius behind it that was made the other games. So you're making Halo, but it's not Halo. So
Do you guys think that Halo 4 is going to be worth playing at all?
yeah, I
I'm
do.
only gonna play it because Master Chief is one of the greatest gaming characters of all time.
Stoic.
B,
I wouldn't agree with that at all.
I have an obstinate obsession and obligation to play this game on a personal level. And C, I really don't like 343. I don't like their choices that they've made for certain things. Like, for instance, deciding not to put Halo 1 multiplayer in the re-release of the game, which I understand.
Oh yeah,
their
when
decision.
Anniversary had Reach multiplayer.
Yeah, I understand their decision not to split up the community, but really, like, that's all everybody ever slobbered about was being like, man, I wish I could have played Halo 1 on the console.
And instead, your only option was to play Halo Reach with like slightly modified pistols on old maps that
that
look
still
different.
are not as good as the original.
Yeah.
No matter what,
I-
there's never been a pistol as good as the original.
I mean,
one.
I do have to say I like the fact that Halo 4 is going to be like the story they're focusing on is stuff from the novels and such.
Okay, and keep going, but I gotta jump in on that
Sure.
after you're done talking.
And I like the fact that they're going to start focusing the story a little bit more on like they're keeping it continuity wise, I guess you could say. Like they're
Keeping it within canon.
yeah, they're keeping it within canon. They're not just like it's not like Microsoft got Halo and they're like time to fuck this shit up and they just like throw it on the ground and they just pee on it and shit on it. It's like at least they're taking it, being like we're gonna make this into money. Like at
What I
least they're-
can't stand though is that the Halo books were some of my like some of the most like readable video
Yeah.
game based novels, and there's actually really interesting sci-fi shit going on in there, like more so than the games tend to do even. And the more recent Halo games, specifically ODST and Reach, have just been like directly contradicting them.
Nope, exactly. They're like, and then Bungie was like, nope.
yeah,
They're
and
just
so,
like,
It's like,
nope.
yeah, you know that stuff that was an extended universe and stuff. Yeah, whatever.
That was my biggest gripe with Reach. I was like, how are you gonna have
Like right down to having like
giant fan
strong
base
kind of Spartans on
where
Reach.
a quarter of your fan base is literally from the outside, fiction that has been written around this universe? How are you going to have that and then just totally ignore it and make up your own story that takes parts from the books and does it badly? How are you going to do
Yeah.
that?
It was
How
rough
are
too,
you
because when
going to
I
do that?
played Halo Wars, it was so accurately based on the books
Oh, yeah.
that it gave me this really great expectations. Then I played Halo Reach, and it's like they have the wrong kind of Spartans on Reach when it's going down. It's like no, everything's fucked now.
yeah, I noticed that. I was like,
you
wait
got-
a second.
you
how-
got-
That's
the
why.
first
That's
book
why
wrong.
Reach fell.
And-
That's why Reach fell.
And see, I saw that they did. I saw the thing for Halo 4, and they were talking about the fact that they were gonna include the Spartan 4s.
Oh yeah, Halo 4 is supposed to be the next level of Spartan.
Yeah, they're gonna show the Spartan 4s, and that.
What?
Yeah, it's all stuff that goes on to the canons, like books, comics, all this shit that
I
talks.
haven't read about the Spartan 4s. I've only heard about the Spartan 3s.
That's pretty much all they've said about it, is that the Halo 4 is going to feature Spartan 4s. They haven't even told us what they're going to be like or anything.
Yeah.
So I remember, despite their misleading name, like Spartan 3s were sort of like disposable soldiers compared to Spartan 2s. Like they were like
Well, because it
really
was like
weak.
by the time Spartan 3 had come down the line, it was like they had no funding, they couldn't kidnap kids anymore, and
Yeah, they were like mass-produced super soldiers, basically.
yeah, they were just like the most unriskiest and the quickest way to create soldiers, and that
Well,
was all
and they
did.
were also young teenagers at the time.
Yeah.
Master Chief was in his theater of operations, which again I did not understand what was going on in Reach. These are full-grown,
It's
adults.
almost
And I
like
was like,
Spart-
what?
It's
I
almost
would
like
have
the
loved
Spartan
to have seen
dudes.
a teenager cat. That would have been awesome. Cat as an adult, not so fucking awesome. More like I
Because she
wanted to
keeps
cringe
running
every
you
time she
over.
talked.
Well, she can't drive and she runs you over. It's horrible.
Would have made more sense if she was 14.
The only thing that kind of bothered me though was the fact that like in the books they always made it seem more epic with the fights. Like they always talked about like Master Chief would walk up and beat the fuck out of a brute in the face, and you're like, that sounds awesome. And then in like
Because
Halo,
the
you never.
descriptions of combat in those books are
No,
like
that's what I did in
mind-numbing
Halo. I
insane.
beat up
Like,
everybody.
Like when
Yeah.
they sit there and start describing how Lydia does her sniping and shit, like everything about those books sets up combat so well.
Yeah,
And
and
then
so
they-
Man,
the
First
games, it's
Strike.
like-
Remember First Strike? And then remember when you played Halo Reach and you're like, what?
yeah, you're like, wait a second, this story sounds very familiar, but everything else doesn't.
Yeah,
What is going
it's
on?
like I feel like they cut parts out of it and then made those parts bad. I just don't understand how you can mess that up. Oh, look, a perfect formula. Let's smash it on the ground and pee on it and poop on it, as Andrew just so eloquently stated in the
I thought
beginning of
it.
this
I thought it
discussion.
was weird they chose to pick a story that most people kind of already knew the ending to. Like there
Yeah.
wasn't, you couldn't really spoil. Like there wasn't a way that you could make the ending that was like surprising because it was very predictable. Like all the Spartans die.
No, it's not
The
even.
And what's
It's not even.
up with Cortana being created by the Forerunners as opposed to Hasley developing Cortana
Did they say
in
that?
the books?
I
Yeah,
don't remember that.
At the end of the game in Reach, she says it's our secret weapon that she found in the Forerunner installation, whereas in the canon, she was like, "Oh, okay, yes, I created Cortana. She is me, personified
I
in
thought that
AI."
she found the technology to create Cortana through the old technology.
Well, maybe that's what it was, but I'm pretty sure she implicitly stated that Cortana was Forerunner technology.
Oh
But,
really? I don't.
yeah,
I don't
in
remember
Halo
that. I
Reach.
remember. Because I remember there. Like that's where they got the technology to create artificial intelligence. But I don't. Because I remember even in the thing she did say that she was part of Halsey. And she was like,
Yeah.
I am Halsey. But
That's
it's
exactly where I under the assumption I was.
But then Andrew, when you say predictable, though, like it's not even predictable because literally the opening video of the entire game is a Spartan helmet partially buried in the ground in the middle of a massive wasteland with a bullet hole through its windshield, and then when it zooms into it, it then shows you wearing that helmet. So,
yeah,
like,
but
the
that
moment
doesn't.
you start
I mean,
the
that
game,
doesn't
you
speak.
know you're fucked.
That doesn't speak for the other Spartans. You don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you go into it, you already know from the previous Halo series that, like, Master Chief is the last Spartan. Aside from the...
All I know is when I heard
Linda.
that Halo Reach was coming out. Yeah, that's like the number one scene I wanted to replay when I heard Halo Reach is coming out, because that is just such a scriptable scene. You know, can you imagine just like rushing out there with Chief? Oh, and by the way, there's these other 99 Spartans here to help you.
Wow.
I want that to happen. That sounds cool.
Oh yeah, I want it to happen.
Allies. And then and there's a whole cast of surviving Spartans to have too, because in the last book there's an entire group of Spartans that gets stuck inside of a shield world, and then Halo 4 shows, like the Halo 4 teaser trailer shows Master Chief going into a shield world. It's like, ooh, maybe they're gonna meet all those characters now.
Oh, maybe 343 realized that they completely, or Bungie and 343 realized that the story took a turn for not canon.